Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Bunch Nuts podcast. This is Dan here with Big Cass. Buckeyes, they got it done Saturday, 35-7. Honestly, one of the top wins of the weekend when you really think about it, considering this weekend was carnage. If you were a top 10 team, you were not safe. Um, unless you were idle. Some teams were idle. And Ohio State 35-7 against Iowa. Pretty good win, in my opinion. The haters will say it's bad, and that we weren't impressive. But I know we all saw the screenshot of the ESPN article with the biggest joke I've ever seen. But it's a great win. And yes, there's some things we're going to nitpick, Cass, I know for sure. But I'm sure you're pleased too. And I'm really pleased at the trajectory of this team. I think this is a championship caliber team. Just because they went out there and did what they were supposed to do, and it wasn't even good. It wasn't even like the best game they played.
I I have nothing to complain about this game outside of maybe
Ball security.
ball security, but outside of that, I mean, we're an interception and a fumble away from this game being 49-7 in reality.
Yeah.
Um, the only thing concern I have is it's time to give Julian Sands some more reps. I understand you want to keep Devin Brown happy, but he just doesn't get it done. He's had one good pass. We had a great opportunity to go down and score, and he just overshoots his receivers. Like, I don't understand. Um, and that's again nitpicking a 35-7 dominant win by the Buckeyes. The offensive line just dominated. The defensive line front seven just dominated. Um, Again, I have no issues. Outside of maybe one play call, 4th and 2, and you go open set backfield with Will Howard. I didn't agree with that.
So, okay. I have a couple things, and I want to preface this at one is we are extremely nitpicking because we are trying to find the holes in Ohio State's game because we want them to be great. This is a Monday, like this is Monday morning quarterbacking. This is just us being jerks because we're just gonna get like explain all the nitty gritty stuff. So my first thing was yes, cast the play calling with Chip Kelly. We had in the first half 110 yards rushing, and I believe we finished over 200 yards on the
Yep,
game. 200,
first first team in quite some time to rush over 200
yeah,
yards.
203 yards rushing, and I think on the kneel we didn't take knees either to preserve that. But I thought we were running the ball extremely well, and we kind of shied away from it, and I'm not sure why. I just didn't enjoy that. The Will Howard interception, I didn't hate it. I understood that, honestly, because we were trying to force the ball. It was a one-on-one look. The receiver could have gotten it. Not the best ball, obviously not the best ball. The Jeremiah Smith, I know he's a freshman, but we gotta preach ball security, man.
Mm-hmm.
That was honestly, I think one of the biggest plays in the first half. If he doesn't fumble that, I think this game looks completely different. And then my one nitpick, um, and this concerned me, our punt unit on like a 4th and 2, a 4th and 1. It concerns me that teams could just go ahead and sneak it that easily. And I'm not I the game was lost by Kirk Ferentz when he called the timeout on Luke Lachey's punt fake. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. We almost had a ball. That and the Jeremiah Smith fumble were two big plays in the first half. That kind of the Jeremiah Smith fumble kept it close. And then Kirk Ferentz being a dummy. And then there was a clear first down. He easily got that first.
Mm-hmm.
That's what concerns me is that like we present that on tape and now other teams might feel bold to do that. That kind of terrifies me.
Well, and also too the way Iowa came out in that huddle formation kind of probably confused as well because they as soon as they got out of that circle huddle, they went up to the line of scrimmage, snapped it right to Luke Lachey. So I think that just caught off the
I
defense off
I
guard.
mean I just didn't like how our guys just kind of stood there. It felt like there
I
wasn't
think it just caught him off guard, to be
they
honest with
gotta
you.
bring like they gotta bring the backers up then or something. Like they can't have four down
And
linemen.
on it, all
The
honesty,
backers
how
got
many
the ball.
teams are actually going to do that?
No, I know. I mean, Michigan will totally do that though, because they're
Michigan's gonna Michigan is gonna pull out all the stops to
like
figure out something.
Michigan would do that. So that's why that concerns me because that's something like Michigan would do. And then
Yeah.
also my last biggest gripe of the day. This is obviously the punt fake. That was probably my most concerned play, or I guess scheme issue. But my number one gripe of the day was Ryan Day. These injuries, man, just not letting us know about Carnell Tate until like 30 minutes before was just the rudest thing ever.
He doesn't
I'm
even know
sick of
what
it.
his injury is.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it because
He's gonna play Saturday.
I'm
I think
sitting here
maybe
last week.
it was a rest. Maybe it was a rest.
It probably was. I'm like telling everyone this week, last week, oh yeah, Carnell Tate's in for a big game, and the guy doesn't even play, and there's no
How
signs.
about we say nobody's gonna have a big game because it seems like every time we make a prediction, somebody's gonna have a big game. Because we did it we did it a couple weeks ago with Tyleek Williams.
Well, Bryson Rogers had a really good day, honestly. But he was in place for Carnell Tate, so I'm taking credit for that. But Bryson Rogers had a really the first. I
Oh,
think
that catch!
F-
That's Will Howard's best pass. He zipped it right to
I mean
Bryson
the
Rogers.
crowd too. When he caught that, the crowd made a different noise. It wasn't a cheer. It was like a ooh. Like everyone was like he caught that.
Just a great play by both Will Howard and Bryson
And
Rogers.
it was early. It was early on the game, tone setter, and honestly, that really helped. But Chip Kelly cooked him on the first drive. Just great play calling, and then he got cute with it. I think too he's kind of playing with house money because he's like, oh, we're up 7-0 on Iowa and get ball at half. The game was kind of over. It kind of felt like because we could kind of from there we could. I know that sounds extremely cocky to say, but it's like when you get up 7-0 and get ball at half, and you're at home against Iowa, you should win that.
And we went right down and scored.
Yeah. But it was a good performance. I'm very
Yeah.
pleased.
Yeah. Sonny Styles' best game as a Buckeye, hands down.
Mhm.
Great to have Tyleek Williams back. Um,
Yes.
Especially when we get ready to break down this Oregon and Ohio State game this big week this week. Um, and then, I mean, I have no complaints whatsoever all around.
Yeah, no, it was a really good day. I mean, I was really impressed. We held Caleb Johnson to 86 yards. Now, a lot
And
of
28 of it was on a bogus touchdown run at the end of the
against
game.
Hughes. What was it? 86 divided by 15, and he's averaging there's no way. It says he averaged 5.7 a carry. I think
That
that's
was because that 28-yard run.
yeah, yeah,
Take
that
that 28, take one carry out of there and take that 28-yard run out of there.
I mean, that was his long run of the day. Yeah, so let's hold on. Let's calculate that. Outside that run, 86 minus 28 divided by 14. 4.14. I still don't I don't believe that. I just it felt like he was getting maybe three.
Yeah, it still he was averaging seven some yards a carry.
Yeah, I mean, we shut him out. He was
Yeah,
a non-factor,
non-factor.
like
Like he wasn't even excited when he scored the touchdown. It was so late in the game that he's just like, "Oh yeah, here's the ball, ref."
K McNamara was horrible. He was he really regressed,
He
man.
he got rocked by Jack Sawyer.
Yeah, he did not play well. Luke Lachey, I thought played really well for Iowa. I think he
Oh,
probably
he was going to play well regardless.
which I just don't understand. How do we mess up that recruitment?
Joe, who, was that the Joe Royer class?
I think it was. Yeah, it was.
2020? It was the Joe Royer
It
class.
was.
Had we fumble the bag with, but then again, Luke Lachey, one of the best tight ends, going to Iowa. Makes sense. Makes sense for Iowa.
I mean, he made the right. I mean, I think he made a good call. It's just crazy that like Ohio State didn't
How
even.
good would Luke Lachey be at Ohio State?
He'd be our starting tight end. I mean, he'd be kind of the missing piece this year. Let's be
Do
honest.
you think we would get Cade Stover?
Well, all right. Luke Lachey would probably be in the NFL by now, though. That's
Yeah.
that's also yeah. Okay. I don't know. It's just crazy that Ohio State didn't get him, considering how successful his dad was at Ohio. You know, is will be like just one of the best
Right.
in Ohio State history.
Right.
And also, pretty big guy around Columbus if you haven't heard of him. Um,
Super Bowl champion with the Washington Redskins.
multiple time Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
real quick. Okay. Pulling back this up. On defense too, like Igbinosin, that was such a cool interception.
yeah. I thought he was going to take it to house.
I wish he did. It
I
kind
think
of
he was shocked that he got the touch because it was kind of a delayed reaction. He's like, "Oh crap, I got the ball in my hands."
Jermaine.
Caleb Downs just drilled that dude out of bounds.
I'm convinced Caleb Downs now at this point, like with this defense is so talented that we keep everything kind of in front of us and we do a good job breaking outside, like keeping contained and all that. So there's very few opportunities for Caleb to actually come in and make a big play like that. But he's due for one of those a game where he just absolutely blows up a play that should go for at least 5 yards and it goes for a loss and it just completely ruins the drive every time.
Hmm.
It's like a drive killer. It's crazy. It's like they scheme up a great play. Guys open in the flat. Nope, no, he's not. It's a loss. And it's just
Yeah.
it's beautiful. And I don't think people are truly appreciating how hard it is what he's doing, but it's amazing, bro. It's great. I love it.
It definitely is because, especially with everything that's going on in front of him, how well the linebackers were playing so downhill, and for him to make a play like that was phenomenal. Like it, it was just awesome.
He just flies. It's the angles he takes too. It's you gotta diagnose the play, you gotta take the right angle, and you gotta have the speed and toughness to make the play. And he does it every time. And it's not even like you're not even worried about it. And when you can just when he's getting into into the flat so quick, they're not able to really use the short passing game as
Right.
effectively. It's it's gonna force them to have to take shots, I think. And that's when Igbinosin, Burke, they're gonna get the picks.
That's why I know this is kind of like a early thing breakdown with Oregon. That's this with the way Lathan Ransom and Caleb Downs play. This could be bad news for Dylan Gabriel because uh he's going to have to get the ball out quick because of the pass rush Ohio State might bring. Um, and he can do that, but you're looking at Ohio State's DBs, all five of them, because Hancock's going to play more than 19 snaps versus Oregon's wide receivers outside of Evan Stewart. I mean, do they really have anybody? I don't even think Evan Stewart's good, but like, do they have anybody that can go
Tez,
one on one
Tez
and beat?
Johnson, Tez Johnson's pretty he's pretty shifty. He's a burner,
But
but
like to go one on one with Denzel Burke, Davison Igbenos, and Jordan Hancock, Caleb Downs, and Lathan Ransom.
Jermaine Matthews.
I mean, Sonny Styles is 19 years old, and he's going to have to try to cover a 26-year-old tight end, but which is ridiculous.
I
But
I do think Oregon has some good skill guys.
oh, I do too. We'll talk more about it
Yeah,
later this week.
their problem is I just I just think they're beatable after watching comparing how we played against at Michigan State and then watching literally a week later that same Michigan State team who also just got pummeled by us
I worry for
do better
look,
than they did against Michigan do better against they
Dylan Gabriel is a good quarterback, really good quarterback. but he's in his sixth season and he still turns the ball over as much as he does. That's got to be concerning, especially when you're playing Ohio State. Obviously, we'll talk more this week about that. We're just trying to talk about the defense and because what Iowa brought and the way Ohio State shut that running game down, I said where they would have to force Cade McNamara to throw the ball. He had some success, but in reality, Ohio State shut it down. They shut it down.
He threw for 98 yards. I don't think he had much success.
He had a little bit, but when I mean little bit, he wasn't throwing the ball downfield.
He hit the freshman, the white guy. What's his name?
The white guy.
Vanderjee. He hit him early. It was what, like a 14-yard pass?
Hey, that dude forced Caleb Brown to take a red shirt and transfer. So,
No, he look, the guy that kid's not bad. He's only a
mm.
freshman. He's gonna be a good player for them. I completely I respect his game. He's a good player.
how
First,
how how about the stiff arm that Quinshawn Judkins put on what could be the Buckus winner award winner?
it was disgusting.
Disgusting. It's time to hand out some Buckeye Leafs.
Let's hand him out. All right.
I don't have a special teams one because we didn't really do much on special teams to hand out. So I'm going to do 3 offense and 3 defense if that's okay with you.
I agree. I mean, unless we want to give one to Joe McGuire again, because
We've been doing that all week.
no,
Or I could give 2 offense if you want to give 2 defense,
I mean, my
and I'll
special. I'll give a special teams one to Brandon Innes. Just
okay.
he was kind of like our Swiss Army knife out there. He returned a punt for 14, kick return 14 yards, a punt for 3 yards, and he had 2 catches. Where was it? Yeah, I believe he had 2 catches, right, bro? It was 3 for 29 yards. So no, yeah, he was kind of like our jackknife out there. I know most of his production was catches, but he did a pretty good job, I think, fielding balls and stuff.
I might just give mine to the kickoff team.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, we
yeah.
did a great job
I agree.
kick coverage, so and forced them to call fair catch. So
No, it was much improved today. All right, one offense, one defense.
well, 2 offense, one for each. Go ahead.
I'm gonna start on. I'm going to Mecca. 3 touchdowns. Not much more I can say. Just amazing.
I know a lot of Buckeye fans might give me a lot of crap for this, and as much as I want to put Jeremiah Smith on there, but I'm giving mine to Will Howard.
I agree.
He
He had a day.
he he had a day. He accounted for all Ohio State's touchdowns.
He did. The one rushing and then 4 passing. He cooked. That's a JT Barrett type day.
Yeah. Defense. By the way, as a proud Fairfield County member, Pickerington boys are built different, and Fairfield County boys are built different. Ty Hamilton, Jack Sawyer, and Sonny Styles were in the top 5 on the team this week in tackles. Come, all 3 of them were in the top, I believe, in the top 5 and team in total tackles.
This is so hard because there's like 4 guys on defense that you can make an argument for.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with I'm going with Igbinosun. The pick, we needed it. It gave a little juice to the stadium, and it was just nice seeing him step up. Um, instead of Burke. Now teams really can't just target him. And it was a fun return. He almost had it. 45 yards, not a bad return at all.
I kind of hinted this around of who I was going to choose, but just because he had his best day as a Buckeye since he's been in the Scarlet and Gray, I'm giving it to Sonny Styles.
Okay.
I could have gave it to Jack Sawyer, could have gave it to Ty Hamilton, or even Tyleek Williams, but it just feels right giving it to Sonny Styles.
That's fair. All right. So that wraps up Iowa. And then we're gonna turn the page to Oregon next episode. But real quick, Cass, we got before we finish this episode, we got to recap what
Ugh,
transpired this weekend.
our
And
picks were terrible.
it was, I mean, I don't even care. This was an insane weekend of
Yeah,
football. And
I believe I went 2 for 3, 2 for 5, and you went no, the only one no, because we got them all wrong.
no, we did. Hold on.
No, I went 2 for 4 or 2 for 3 because I got Navy right.
Oh, I went yeah, I went 1 for 4. You went 2 for 3. Oh, it was a bad week. I didn't even realize. I thought I was 3 for 2 this week. Oh my God.
It
I
was a
thought,
bad week.
yeah, it's all right. I'm still right about 500, and then you're still up. Um, the games. Which one do you want to start with? Because they were we were joking like a week before, like, oh, this week is so bad. There's no good games. False. There's always good games. The schedule might not look good, but the games are amazing.
Um, Tough. Let's start with the big one. That's the Vanderbilt beating the number 1 team in the country. I mean, I was in my car driving home. We were listening to it because I have free Sirius XM with my car right now, and listening to the Alabama Crimson Tide radio network was just glorious. Um, by the way, my cousin, after I left your house, the Michigan State, he's a big Alabama fan. They're from that area. Running his chops after beating Georgia, just running him, just running him. So after they lost to Vanderbilt, I called him. He sent me right to voicemail and then silenced his notifications on his phone. I called his brother and I said, "Hey, let Hunter know that the quarterback Pavia or whatever his name is."
Yeah.
I said, "Let him know that he's calling to ask him a few questions." So I still I talked to him, but um, but yeah, wow, how bad is Alabama's defense? Oof.
Um, it's just, I mean, you're gonna remember where you were. Like the old folks, they know where they were when Pearl Harbor happened, the moon landing. I know where I was when 9/11 happened, and I will know where I was when Alabama beat Vanderbilt. I was on Neil Ave in like Fifth Street, and I was just at a light trying to turn left to drop Mitch off at a bar after the game, and I'm getting a call from my aunt lives in Georgia, and she's a Georgia fan, and she's just like, Alabama just lost to Vanderbilt, and I can't believe it. Hell is frozen over. This must be the sign of end of times. I don't know what this means. It can't be good. But I will say, watching those fans take the goalpost, and shout out the stadium staff for one helping out. Shout out for the cops for like leading a great escort and like allowing the kids to be kids. And shout out to the king of Vanderbilt, the guy on top of the goalpost,
It
waving to everyone,
was
uh,
like a parade.
like he was the king of England.
Shout shout out to the drunk bachelorettes that had no clue that was
They
going what was
brought
going
that,
on.
dude. Someone who's been to Nashville, they
Yep.
brought that literally, like, that's the equivalent of them walking that down High Street and then like down like Nationwide Boulevard.
It
That
was
is insane. And then they threw it in the river, perfectly executed. Just well done.
hey, shout out to those bachelorettes that had no that were so drunk that I had no clue what was going on.
And now Bama has a quality loss.
And then Tennessee loses to Arkansas. What really kills me is if that was Ohio State and Penn State that lost to Purdue and Northwestern,
We're eliminated.
we're out of the top 15. And right now, ESPN and all that media would be crucifying James Franklin and Ryan Day. But no, since Tennessee and Alabama lost to Vanderbilt and Arkansas, they stay in the top 10. And Paul Feinbaum had the radio call. I'll have to pull it up or something. Paul Feinbaum says, "Oh, Vanderbilt, a team." Yeah, he said it was the most embarrassing loss in college football history. No, I still think Appalachian State beating Michigan is the most
Oh,
embarrassing
I
loss
agree.
in
I
college
agree.
football history. But Paul Feinbaum said this is a team that lost to Georgia Southern, and I don't know if it was a caller or somebody said it was Georgia State, not Georgia Southern. Like, uh, but the fact that they stayed in the top 10, Alabama and Tennessee, is just mind boggling because if it was Ohio State and Penn State or Ohio State and
Well,
Oregon,
here's my question. Like, if Ohio State loses to Oregon, we cannot drop below Bama and them. We like,
there's no way.
no, we can't. After like, it's just like we're gonna get We get penalized because our game is a week
And
later and it's recency bias. I mean,
you'd have to keep them above Georgia because Georgia lost to Alabama, who lost to Vanderbilt.
it's not that's not what's gonna happen, unfortunately, and we're gonna be mad and all that. But um, it's just ridiculous. What game were we talking about? It was not Bama, Vandy,
Tennessee and Arkansas State.
Tennessee, Arkansas. Oh yeah,
Arkansas.
I want to just say, Nico, he did the Joe Milton where he just ran out of bounds on the last play of the game. And that begs the question, is Josh Heupel not teaching his quarterbacks clock management and end of game strategy? I don't think it is. I don't think you can blame that last one on Joe Milton or Nico. I feel like this is something that just isn't coached or communicated. I I just don't understand though, too, if you're a quarterback and it's literally the last play of the game, how does the ball not get in the end zone? Like
Mm-hmm.
the ball, if
They
I'm the
pulled a Dak
coach,
Prescott.
the ball has to be in the end zone. I don't care if my receiver doesn't
Yeah.
catch it. Fine.
At least you tried.
The ball has to be in the end zone. It has to be in the end zone.
I agree.
And then if our receiver doesn't catch it, so be it. But we got to give our guys a chance.
Yeah.
It's insane that like people do this still. I don't
And
know.
I told people, I told you so. I said Tennessee has not been. I was like, Tennessee does not impress me. Tennessee is going to get beat, and sure enough, they lost to Arkansas State. I mean, granted,
It's
Missouri got boat raised, but
That was
still,
surprising. I put money on Missouri and that was just like what? You turn on the game, it's 30-0. I'm like, what's going on?
yeah. I mean,
What game brought me joy?
is Washington,
Washington. Oh, that was
but didn't we both pick Michigan?
it's fine. I'm gladly wrong.
They
Gladly
and what's so funny is that staffer. That's the same equivalent to Mark Pantoni.
getting in that guy's face. I would just win like bet when he's like, you keep doing that, you can get effed up. I'd be like, bet, bet, and let him punch me. Like, bet, bet,
Yeah.
bet, bet.
What kills me is Michigan lost, Tennessee lost this week, right? Everybody's RJ Young, everybody's saying who's winning this game between Ohio State and Oregon this week. Everybody like Tennessee and Michigan fans are sitting here crying Ryan or Ryan Day is going to be so upset when Oregon beats them by 30, blah blah blah. You just lost to Arkansas.
I just want to also like I think Ohio State's going to beat Oregon. I'm not too concerned. I just want to say though, are we overrating Texas because the win
I'm
against
not.
Michigan, the win against Michigan now though, it looks good, but in the grand scheme
But at
of
least they dominated.
yeah, but okay. in the grand scheme of things, at the end of the day, Iowa's going to end up as a better football team than Michigan at the end of the
Yep.
day, end of the season. So why is Ohio State not getting any credit for the Iowa win, but we're giving Texas all the credit for the Michigan win when we know one team is definitely better than the other, right?
What's crazy is it's Ohio State and Oregon. Whoever wins, that's going to be number one for 1 week because you know what's going to happen next week when Georgia and Texas play,
Yeah.
unless Georgia wins.
Oh no. Well, if Georgia went, yeah, then I mean that would be hilarious.
But
Uh,
like Josh Pate said, I think it was Josh Pate said, there's two teams that I think legitimately right now could sit there and I can say be confident that it will win the national championship. That's Ohio State and Texas.
I agree.
So I agree too. I like Texas. And what's if you really sit back and think about both teams, solid quarterback play, solid skilled players, solid running game. I think ours is a little bit better in Texas. Solid offensive line, solid defense.
Yeah, absolutely. So that does it for week 6. Good week of football. Great week for the Buckeyes. Buckeyes look to beat Oregon next week, next Saturday. Casting about 20 seconds here. And all I gotta say is thank you for everyone for listening to another episode of the Bunch of Notes podcast and go Bucks.
Go Bucks.